What if I said your thoughts, choices, and beliefs might not actually be your own? Every day, without noticing it, other people are guiding, pushing, and influencing you, not with force, but with clever, exact methods. Here's the surprising part. These methods work best when you believe you're in full control. This isn't science fiction. It's real psychological control happening in your daily life through relationships, the media, politics, advertising, and even normal conversations. These aren't silly tricks from a blog. They're deeply researched psychological tools, used by cult leaders, companies, and sometimes even people you trust. Chances are, you've already been affected by some of them. In this episode, we're going to reveal 7 of the most powerful manipulation methods ever discovered. Once you understand them, they won't work on you the same way again. Because the first step to getting back control of your mind is realizing someone may already have taken it. The mirror technique, becoming like you to control you. One of the sneakiest ways someone can manipulate you doesn't feel like an attack. Instead, it feels like agreement. It's called the mirror technique, and it works by copying you and showing you a version of yourself. The person copying you starts acting like they share your values, speak in your tone, laugh at your jokes, and even share your fears and humor. They move like you, believe what you believe, and seem to fully understand you. This makes you feel deeply seen, truly understood, and emotionally connected. That's the trick. Humans are naturally drawn to people who seem like them. It's how our brains work. We think people who act like us are safe. So when someone mirrors us, we stop being careful. We stop asking questions and we start trusting them. This is the moment when they begin to influence you. This method is used in powerful sales meetings, negotiations, cults, toxic relationships, political speeches, business leadership, and even grooming. Someone trained in this technique can make you feel like they totally get you. They repeat your problems, your dreams, and your way of thinking. You start thinking, finally, someone who truly understands me. But here's the scary part. They're not being genuine. They're being calculated. By copying you, they sneak past your mental filters. You're not really listening to them. You're listening to a version of yourself. And when someone who gets you asks you for something or suggests a new idea, it feels natural to agree. You don't even notice the manipulation because it looks just like you. How can you spot this? Look for someone who seems too perfect or whose behavior always matches yours. Healthy relationships have disagreements, flaws, and real moments. If someone always agrees and never argues, they may not be connecting. They may be acting. And when they act like you, your free will becomes part of their performance. Gaslighting, making you doubt your reality. Gliding isn't just lying, it's changing your view of reality so much that you stop trusting your own thoughts. It begins with small comments. They might say, "That didn't happen." You feel confused. Next time, they say, "You're imagining things." Soon, you doubt your memory, then your instincts, and eventually, your whole sense of truth. Gaslighting is powerful because it attacks your internal guidance system. It doesn't try to control your actions directly. It makes you question if your feelings are even real. And once your inner compass is broken, the manipulator can lead you anywhere. Sometimes, it's not dramatic. It can be calm and even seem caring. They might say things like, "It's not that serious. I never said that. You misunderstood. Don't you trust me more than your own memory?" Does that sound familiar? You'll find gaslighting in abusive relationships, toxic workplaces, media messaging, and political statements. It works especially well when the victim wants to believe the gaslighter because humans want connection, even if it means ignoring our own truth. Here's what's dangerous. Victims often defend their gaslighter. Why? Because admitting someone close is manipulating you is painful. So, denying it feels safer. How do you protect yourself? Keep a journal. Write down what happened and how you felt. Record your thoughts. Over time, this becomes your proof. Also, talk to people you trust. Gaslighters want to isolate you, but awareness connects you again. Your feelings are real. Your experiences matter. If someone makes you constantly doubt both, it's not love, it's control. And worst of all, once you start gaslighting yourself, they don't have to do anything anymore. Foot dash in the door technique. Getting a small yes to get a bigger one later. The most dangerous types of manipulation don't come with loud demands. They begin quietly. The foot in the door technique works by getting you to agree to something very small, so small that you don't think twice. But once you say yes to that, they slowly ask for more. Why does it work? Because we like to think of ourselves as consistent. If we say yes once, we feel like we should keep saying yes to stay true to our past actions. Manipulators use that to slowly guide you into things you'd normally say no to. For example, can you just sign this small form? Then later, well, you already signed that one, so why not this next one? You'll see this everywhere free. TRILS that turn into paid subscriptions. A friend asking for a small favor, then expecting more government rules introduced little by little until something extreme is accepted in cults or controlling groups. It might start with just come to one meeting. Why does it work so well? Because once we start down a path, we try to make our actions make sense, even if we're no longer okay with where it's going. How do you protect yourself? Don't stop saying yes entirely, but treat every new request as its own thing. Just because you agreed once doesn't mean you owe anyone anything more. Say to yourself, that was then. This is now. Your past yes doesn't mean you must keep saying yes forever. And if someone insists you continue, chances are they never deserved your agreement to begin with. Love bombing and idealization, when too much love is a trap sometimes. Manipulation starts by making you feel amazing. You feel loved, admired, worshipped. Someone gives you constant compliments, affection, gifts, and promises. You think, this is the person I've been waiting for. But this is called love bombing, and it's not love. It's a trap. Love bombing is when someone floods you with praise and attention to quickly break down your defenses. They tell you you're special, perfect, unique. They say they share your dreams. They agree with everything you say. They make you feel like you're the one. Why do they do this? Because if you feel safe and loved, you're less likely to question them. Then, after the high comes the switch. They pull away, go cold, or act distant. And now, you're hooked. You keep trying to get back the sweet, loving version of them. You start wondering what you did wrong. You change your behavior, hoping they'll return to how they were at the beginning. This is how narcissists, cult recruiters, controlling partners, and even political leaders trap people. Our brains form strong emotional bonds during intense feelings. If they overwhelm you with emotion early on, you'll connect those feelings to them and chase the feeling even when it's gone. But real love doesn't rush. Real relationships don't need to act like a show. If someone showers you with intense affection too soon, pause. If they think you're perfect without knowing your flaws, be cautious. If their love disappears when you set a boundary, it wasn't love, it was control. Love bombing isn't kindness, it's emotional manipulation. And the more you crave it, the more power they have over you. Fear priming. Using fear to take control. Fear priming is a way to control people by making them scared, then offering to save them. It could be a real fear or something made up. But the idea is, once you're scared, the manipulator gives you a solution, one that puts them in charge. This isn't new. It's been used for centuries. Religions warning about hell, politicians saying, vote for me or the country will fall apart. Companies saying, buy this now or lose out. They use fear to say, "Be afraid. Let me protect you." When you're scared, your brain stops thinking clearly. You stop analyzing, you react. And that's when you're most open to being led. Examples are everywhere. Buy this or you'll miss the chance. Without me, your life will fall apart. If you don't act now, it'll be too late. It works because people are more motivated to avoid pain than to find pleasure. Fear narrows your thinking, and the manipulator uses that tunnel vision to guide you. Here's the hard truth. If you've ever reacted to a scary news story, message, or warning without fully understanding it, you've been fear-primed. How do? You stop it? Pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, what fear is being triggered in me? Who benefits if I feel this way? Fear isn't always fake in relationships, but someone always profits from it, right? And anyone who keeps you afraid is like special more interest, not like those brainwashed in controlling you than protecting you. In companies, identity, you're a team seating, labels that trap you. Because we fear being rejected. Someone does. If someone controlling what they connects your value to a label, identity seeding hold on to manipulation. Even if it hurts someone gives you a label, the scariest part, and you start to believe it feels good. They don't force you to act. Someone sees you, respects you, own ego does it for them. But what they're really doing is shaping you to act how they want. How can you protect yourself? Don't just accept labels people give you. Ask yourself, you'd never lie. Actually, these sound like compliments. But is this role being offered? So as soon as you accept the label, you're not a brand. Acting in a way you're not a role to fill. You're a real. Try to keep that identity, changing even if it means going against your real needs. Who tries to define you too quickly, you'll see this might also be trying to control you. Manufactured scarcity, making you feel rushed. Manipulators know that if they make something seem rare, you'll chase it harder and ask fewer questions. Manufactured scarcity is a mind trick that makes it seem like time, love, opportunity, or resources are about to run out, even if they're not. The goal is to get you to act before you think. We see this all the time in marketing. Only 2 left. Sale ends at midnight. Seats are limited, act fast. But it also shows up in more serious situations. In relationships, you'll never find someone like me again. In cults, only you get to know this secret right now. In power situations, this is your one shot. Don't screw it up. Why does it work? Because when we think something important might disappear, we panic. We stop thinking and start reacting. That's when the manipulator takes control. But here's the truth. Real value doesn't need pressure. Real truth doesn't expire. If someone is rushing you, it probably means they don't want you to think too hard. So next time you feel rushed, ask, is this really a rare opportunity, or am I just being pressured to act? Because when someone's pushing you to move fast, they're usually pulling you away from your own power. Final thoughts. Now, you know the tools now. You've seen how these manipulation tools work. They're not buried in old textbooks. They're used daily. In business meetings, in personal relationships, in political speeches, in religious talks, in social media ads. Manipulation works best when it's invisible, when you don't even know it's happening, when it looks like love or safety or opportunity, but now you can see it. That doesn't mean you'll never fall for it again, but it does mean you'll notice the pressure, the confusion, the rush, and in those moments, you'll remember something powerful. You have a choice. This isn't about becoming paranoid. It's about becoming aware, because the best protection against manipulation isn't fear, it's awareness. You know what really gets under the skin about all this? It's not just that manipulation exists, it's how normal it looks. That's the haunting part. It doesn't scream, it whispers. It comes dressed as love, connection, praise, urgency. And that's why it works, because we want those things. We need them. We want to feel seen, safe, special. So when someone offers that, we lean in, we open up, we let our guard down. And that's when it starts. What makes this even more uncomfortable? is that the people using these techniques aren't always villains twirling mustaches. Sometimes they genuinely believe they're helping. Sometimes it's parents, partners, friends. Sometimes we use them without realizing it's sugarcoating our requests, guilt-tripping someone for their own good, or presenting love as a transaction. And sometimes we're not even being manipulated. By others, we do it to ourselves. We gaslight our own emotions. We pressure ourselves into roles and labels just to be accepted. We tell ourselves we have to say yes to stay kind, strong, loyal, whatever image we've been fed. That's what this content surfaces, not just techniques, but a mirror. A mirror that asks, where have you seen this before? And more importantly, where have you allowed it? The point isn't to make us paranoid, it's to make us pause, to recognize when something feels off, not because someone yelled, but because someone never pushed back, or loved too hard too fast, or made us feel small when we said no. These aren't just tactics, they're patterns. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. Asterisk, asterisk, what makes manipulation so effective is that it doesn't usually feel like abuse. It often feels like love, concern, misunderstanding, or even support, at least in the beginning. That's why people stay. That's why people question themselves instead of questioning the person manipulating them. And that's why understanding these tactics matters. Because the earlier you recognize them, the faster you can reclaim your sense of self. You can stop blaming yourself for how things have played out. You can stop trying to fix someone else's broken behavior. And you can start choosing relationships, romantic, professional, or otherwise, that respect your clarity, not exploit your confusion. The ability to spot manipulation isn't about becoming suspicious or guarded. It's about becoming aware. It's about tuning into that quiet voice in your head that says, this doesn't feel right, and learning to trust it. Because you don't owe anyone your energy just because they demand it cleverly. You don't have to play mental gymnastics just to stay in someone's good graces. And you definitely don't have to shrink yourself just to make someone else feel comfortable. Manipulation only works in the dark. Once you shine a light on it, it loses its power. And when you know the game, you stop playing it. That's not cynicism, that's self-respect. Asterisk, and here's the uncomfortable part. Sometimes we realize we've done some of these things too. That's part of waking up. Most manipulation isn't about evil intent, it's learned behavior. People model what they've seen, often from childhood, and pass it on like emotional muscle memory. Some use guilt because that's how their parents got them to behave. Some use silence because that's how they kept peace growing up. It doesn't excuse it, but it does explain why awareness is so crucial. Because once you know better, you can stop the cycle. You can choose connection over control, communication over confusion. Healing from manipulation isn't about blaming others forever. It's about reclaiming your voice. It's about learning to trust your instincts again. That voice you silenced when someone told you you were too much or too sensitive, that voice deserves to be heard. It was trying to protect you. It saw the signs long before your mind could make sense of them. Part of healing is learning to listen to that part of yourself without judgment. You'll find that once you've stepped out of manipulation's grip, peace feels strange at first. You'll meet people who communicate clearly, who respect your boundaries, who don't make you feel like you're walking through an emotional minefield. And your nervous system might not trust it right away. That's normal. When chaos has been your baseline, calm can feel suspicious. But stick with it. Learn to recognize the difference between intensity and intimacy. One is based on adrenaline, the other on safety. You might also notice you have more energy. Manipulation is exhausting. It takes so much effort to decode what someone really means, to manage their reactions, to tiptoe around their triggers. Once that weight is gone, you begin to feel lighter mentally, emotionally, even physically. That's not just relief. That's you coming back to yourself. And let's not forget, boundaries become your best friend. They're not walls. They're doors you get to control. You decide who gets in, how long they stay, and how they treat you while they're there. People who love you won't test your boundaries. They'll honor them. People who manipulate you will push against them, then blame you for putting them up. That difference is everything. Another shift you'll feel is the release of guilt. You stop apologizing for being cautious, for needing space, for asking questions. You stop feeling bad for not being easy or low maintenance. You realize that you were never difficult. You were discerning. And that discernment saved you more times than you even realize. There will still be moments when doubt creeps in. That's okay. Healing isn't linear, and manipulation can leave a residue. You may question your decisions or feel guilty for walking away from people who once meant everything to you. But over time, those feelings will become quieter, and your sense of self will get louder. And when someone tries to twist your words, guilt trip you, or gaslight you again, you won't shrink. You'll see it for what it is. And you'll walk away faster. That's not you being cold. That's you being clear. And maybe that's the beginning of real power when you stop blaming yourself, stop chasing the illusion, and start asking better questions. So if this opened your eyes even a little, share it. Someone you love might still be stuck in it. Subscribe if you want to stay sharp, stay aware, and never give your mind away without knowing it. Because the strongest kind of freedom is the one that starts in your own head.